Welcome to the City of Path. I have spent 3 years in this hardcore Minecraft world, and a good amount of that time has been spent working on this build project, really trying to sell the idea of a capital city, so it's grown pretty massive. I originally started up here at the top of the valley, working on the upper district to define our build style. Then I skipped the entire middle, jumped to the far side to start the docks and assemble a bit more of an industrial district, as I want this to be Minecraft functional. I've added a good amount of auto farms underground, and every single one of these farms has a collection point hidden down in a basement underneath one of the buildings. This has led to 2 different regions of the city that I'm now spending some time blending them together with even more of our city buildings, linking up that industrial older build style with a more clean, fancy style up top, where the most recent addition inside the city walls is here along what I'm calling University Street. I've also expanded even further outside of the city to create a harbor district down here along a custom cliffside, which still has a lot of room to grow out here. But today I'm focusing behind the city walls, as I want to finally fill in this space here to connect the top and bottom halves of the city together. With that, the grind begins. So please click that like button and consider subscribing if you would like to follow along with this world. And thank you so much for the support. Hey, my birthday cake. It's kind of sat there for a few months. Now, I have just gotten back from taking some time off, and I haven't played Minecraft in over 2 weeks, which is pretty rare for me. Today, I want to get started by figuring out how to move again in this world, and just gather some blocks for the new builds today. I should have some empty shulker boxes in here. Yes, we do, that we can take with us to start just filling full of junk. And what do we have in here? Oh, what? Thank you, fWhip. Love that guy sometimes. With all those newly found wooden materials, I decided to start off in lumber storage and go through my material list of what I need for these new city buildings to start checking off some of those boxes. I was pretty low on cherry logs, however, so to experience the great outdoors of Minecraft, I flew off to a nearby cherry biome to chop down some trees, with a quick stop in the jungle as well to chop some more big trees to pick up some more logs. As mentioned previously, I have farms under the city, so I stopped there for some free mangrove logs too. Next up, we go down into the mines. From there to gather a bunch of tough and deep slate, as I'm going to be using a lot of it for all these next builds. Where we can move into the next storage room, I jumped up into the quarry and picked up a bunch of goodies from all the different stone storage chests that I have. I definitely didn't have enough deep slate though, so I actually had to jump back down into the mines and just filled up my inventory a second time full of cobbled deep slate. But we're moving on to buy some bricks from our stonemason villagers in the cave village nearby. Then we can finally head back up to the house, as I want to craft down a lot of different copper materials so that we can add some more colors into the roofs, so they don't all end up just being the tough and deep slate that we just gathered. My inventory is filling up though with full shulker boxes of stuff, so I decided to just take a quick trip over to the project site and drop off all of the different full ones, as it's now time to take some more trips around the world to gather all of those little one-off bits and bobs here and there, like grabbing our white tulips here so that we can make a little bit more light gray dye. Where fast forwarding about an hour, we have the final boxes getting dropped off, and all of our dogs here to watch over everything and keep it safe so we could get into building. Now, you've probably seen this mess in the background a few times so far. Well, a while ago, it looked like this as a full mountain. I wanted to create a flatter farming region for this city, so I've been tearing this all down slowly to create my own custom biome here in the valley. A quick glimpse into my creative world, I wanted to eventually look a little bit like this. Well, with a few more trees, farms, buildings, and just like stuff, you know. Doing this by hand, however, has led to an insane amount of... I'm opening all the empty ones. How is that possible? Apparently I've missed some, but an insane amount of materials gathered, and this isn't even the entire mess. I have probably dumped well over 100,000 stone into the river here just to have it despawn, and I know that I have went and gathered more than 4 stacks of shulker shells to be able to make more boxes to hold all this junk. I mean, just look at this. We're at 1.6 million blocks mined with our pickaxes, almost 1.1 million with our shovels. This section here that I decided to dig all the way down to the level that I needed, well, that alone took 3 hours, I'm pretty sure. So doing that around the rest of this, I think I still got like 16 hours of digging. Add a little bit of torch spam around to hopefully keep everything safe underneath the buildings that we add in, but I would like to start working our way up towards the hillside with a workshop building here right next to the lava farm. Now with this dripstone floor in already, I want to start bringing up a little bit of our stone brick. No, that's stone brick. This is tough. And this is coral. Thankfully, it does not kill people. But on top of the coral and tough, I want to mix in a little bit of our cobble and mossy cobblestone to help bring in a little bit more of the grime. Being the base floor, I stack this up going around the entire structure with one side coming up to be a slope, which we're going to cover the top here with a log roof on the side. We're at the point in the city where I want to keep adding in variety, but I can't be too chaotic with choices. So since I've used red sandstone before in the city elsewhere, I'm bringing that back in here. I still need to finish the roof on top, but I'm pretty happy with the front here. We're gonna have another building connecting right in there, so I didn't really bother filling that in, but that's a-okay. And then as a way to get things up to the second floor, I've installed this lift with a little dark oak so it pops out even further. The back is also on as well, and we've just got some windows over there. As my plan, if I can stop, is to use this section right along here as a bit more of a green space, just for some lush grass that's kind of overgrown the area. The roof is fully in place, but I have an idea for the top, and I think I grabbed some, yes, pointed dripstone right there. Commonly throughout the city, you'll see me do things like adding iron bars going across the top, or maybe some like iron bars with candles on it, and I think we can kind of get a brown version of that here, almost, with our pointed dripstone, and I don't really like that they're kind of varied to where they sit, but I think it kind of gives the right vibe. That's pretty cool. Being not fully rigid in a straight line, it almost makes it look like it's a little bit more of a ruined, broken down building of sorts and a little bit older, which is kind of the vibe I was going for, I guess. We still have the interior left to do, but I'm over here being like, what else do I need to make on this thing? I think it's a kind of a finished building for now. I added this little detail under here with our dark oak. We got this here in the alleyway just for some storage with a little secret glow lichen in there to make it mob safe. Next up, to move towards that next building, I want to grab some mud, packed mud bricks, and brown mushroom blocks maybe. And then what else do I need? A little coarse dirt, and a bunch of other blocks we'll figure out as we're going, because I would like to bring the road coming back through here in a tiny little alleyway, starting off with a lot of that packed mud that I grabbed, as I think it'll do a really good job breaking away from the gray tone that we have on the street, so it kind of helps it feel a little bit more like an alley. There should be enough space to fit a building in here, so we can bend it around the corner like this, and then I actually want a staircase that'll take us up to that upper level just for another pathway up there. This might be a little bit of a harsh transition here as we go into the slope, but I think ultimately it should be fine, as I wanted to get a few more slabs to work with so that we can bring our way down here and connect our way all the way down here right in front of the armory. Been a while since we've worked in this space. I'm thinking something like this would be a good start to move our way upwards, and we have the road going in, and I'm thinking the base of this building is going to be made out of our brick and our granite, and we'll change it up as we move up towards the top. Then I do want to build out one of those shrines kind of into the wall here that's going to be for the staircase, and I think unfortunately this tree might have to go. We'll leave it for now, but it's honestly not my favorite design anymore, so I'm kind of okay getting rid of it. I brought our grass up a little bit more to hide that open space we had, and once it grows over, we'll come back in probably after building this guy and get some bushes and actual stuff in there. But I'm thinking along the back here, I wanted to try something I've been seeing recently that I think is going to be turning out pretty cool here. So if we take all of our brick walls in here and some granite just for a little bit of texturing, and then we bring in some of the terracotta coming across like this, that gives a little bit of depth to it instead of it just being a flat wall. And we don't need to add a window, mostly because I don't really want one right there, but we kind of get the vibe of something happening. Now going into the next layer, I want to use looms here as our dividing block, but we need to be able to hide that texture as I only want the outside. So I think if I flip this one, yeah, both those are all clear. Perfect. And then as a way to support our second story as it's moving out, I don't want everything to be full blocks like the original build, so we can come over here with a few of our fence gates. And I think on this one, just for an easy light placement, we can do that and just drop a lantern in to keep this area a little bit safer. This here is going to be a really cramped back street with a building coming in right along there, and then our staircase and kind of a retaining wall right in here. But I think it's going to turn out really cool with like a very narrow, almost dark vibe to it. And then honestly, I think this building would be pretty tall, so to cast a cool Minecrafty shadow on this guy, which will work out in our favor. With all of that, I'm going to default Minecraft texturing with the OG palette of spruce, oak, and birch for the second and third levels. Now, on this back side, I did add in a few flower pots that I thought we could just drop some torch flowers in, just for a little bit of a pop, and I can reach it. Great. Up to the roof now, we're gonna go pretty simple on this one of just using some of our deep slate, going from the deep slate bricks into some of our stairs. And then for a bit of a highlight, because I can't help it, we are going to, well, first, this is going to be turning, and then we're gonna incorporate a little bit of tuff along here. The other big thing is I'm thinking in spots like right here, this should be probably far enough in, and let's take some of our oak logs and put one right there, and put a copper grate right back in that spot. We can add a small window here into the attic, which I think looks pretty good. On the back, I left a little opening here that we can fill in with some of our packed mud just to make it a different color, and then take our soul campfire. Don't want to burn my toes too much, so we put those in here and surround them to make a little chimney. For safety, slabs go on top, and then we can't see the fire, but the smoke still comes through, and that's looking pretty good. And we can see a loom right down here, but that's okay. I want to put the door in there, and I don't really want to raise it, and we won't see it from the ground at all. Honestly, it's even kind of hard to see behind the trap door, so that'll probably be pretty okay. I'm leaving this side a little bit blank until we get whatever's in here figured out, as I'm not too sure. But since both these are finished up, let's go get some greenery things. Ferns, grass, dead bushes, oak leaves, maybe mangrove leaves, maybe flowering azalea. Yeah, that's probably a good start. We can start by scattering a few of the taller bushes in here, well, bigger bushes with our leaf blocks. And then purely for the sake of variety, I like to bring in some of our ferns and our grass, probably more heavily on the grass just because I have a lot more of it. And then we could bone meal some of that up, including some of the ferns, and that looks like a good start. And then I'm thinking a little bit of glow lichen around just to spawn proof it so no creepers are hiding inside of it. Yeah, that's looking pretty good over here. Okay, I like how that's turned out a lot. Maybe we do like a dead bush right in there, and then I did also bring a little bit right back here, so it's kind of overgrowing in the alley. A valley between buildings. Right, words are hard. And I'm thinking over on this side, just because we have the tree here, probably shows that it's able to kind of have a little bit of overgrowth going on, that not too many carts are moving along. And it'd be kind of cool. I guess we could just do like a little log pile, and then I'm gonna go get a campfire or a little something like that. Yeah, oh, that's fun. And just like that, the first two buildings of this new block are already in, making big strides towards connecting the top and bottom halves together. Where this is probably one of the last times we'll ever get this view here of these two buildings next to each other, as I'm planning on throwing a big one right here in front of them. But that's fine. That's why I didn't add any windows up there. See, planned ahead. Haha, I knew I was gonna do that. Yeah, it's totally great. Before we get to the next building, I've got to, nope, I need wings. I've got to plant a field. I didn't forget that. Don't worry. Oh, I did forget seeds though. I gotta go back. Okay, there we go. Much better. Now we can plant the field. This is episode 77 of my hardcore Minecraft world, and that's still a really crazy thing to be saying. I've now survived 4 times as long as my previous record in hardcore, which is nuts. I never expected to be able to do all of this, so thank you so very much for the support and helping me stay motivated to continue the series. If you are enjoying it, double check that you are subscribed, as it helps me out a ton, and please click the like button too, as it helps a lot with getting the video out there to some new people. But here we have a brand new field in the world yet again. I always love me a good wheat field here, and I really can't wait to fill this space up even further. Oh, I'm so excited. I definitely don't work in this area all that much though, so somebody let me know how long it takes for this thing to actually grow. With the chunks unloaded, let me know what episode it actually grows on. We'll see how many months that is. Ooh. Don't want to think about it. Between that region and this thing eventually, oh, we're gonna have so much space for fields. I'm not obsessed. That's not a problem. No, it's totally fine. Yeah, not a weird obsession at all with planting fields in Minecraft. No. It's a very normal thing that a lot of Minecrafters do. Actually, very totally normal. Right, anyways, back to the buildings with a big old distraction. I mean, new project here that I want to do right now. So we're doing 2 buildings, one with a tough base and another with packed mud. See what I was saying about not really being able to see that house back there? As even with just the first floor on, we already can't really see much into the alley here. But I think it's actually going to be really important to have that, because it's going to create this darker, moodier space and a brighter front of this building, adding a lot of contrast on this. For the building stacking up to create that alleyway, I want to work in some cherry logs, as I think the lighter colors here are really gonna look good as far as that contrast goes I was just talking about. Yeah, see, look, contrast. We just need to get the building up so it creates the shadow in here. To me, cherry looks really good. I've actually fallen in love with it a lot. I really like it for a building material, but it can be a little too much, I think. So I tend to like to darken the areas and just add a lot of stuff covering it. So we can do that in here. Let's put a window on that one. So we can use a lot of the dark oak like we've been using for the framing and do a few flower pots and then some shutters along here too. Second story is now done, and I've decided to bring in some copper for the roof, and I think it's working out pretty well here. We definitely need to finish it off so it'll keep darkening this area. You can already see that I brought it all the way back there, and it's getting a good shadow cast there, which I think a big building over there with a slight overhang will make it even more intense. But I was thinking along the top here that I would like to bring in a few more of our exposed blocks. And by exposed blocks, I definitely mean the cut just full blocks in here. Then we're gonna go iron bars on top, and because everybody ever is doing it right now and it looks really, really good, we're gonna throw the candles on top of that too. I think the building that's gonna be back on this street, since it's higher elevation, is gonna be taller, so I'm not adding an overhang back here quite yet. And right over here, we're gonna throw in another chimney. This one though, I'm not going to put campfires in just because I don't need that extra smoke causing lag with extra particles throughout, so we're gonna go with a little design like that instead. Roof is fully on now, and it's looking pretty good. It definitely still needs the back wall and probably an interior too, because that might help out with making it a little bit more detailed. But I'm really liking how these three new structures are coming together. And you know what? The base is already in for this guy. I was thinking on top of that one, I should have it around here somewhere. Yeah, let's go with some sandstone. It's currently one block too tall just to jump up, but I'm running out on rockets and I need to go craft some more, so we'll just do that. But over here, I'm thinking we just kind of start with some of the sandstone, work that up, and then we can go into a little bit of sand and like smooth sandstone to make a window right there. Maybe this turns into another taller window right there. We haven't used them yet, so let's throw some scaffolding in for our windows because it kind of works well with the sandstone. I'm down on the ground again. And we need some window shutters, so we could do that right here with some of the blah, blah, blah spruce. And like I did down underneath with the jungle there, this is going to be a shorter building, seeing as it is, and come on. And I hit a tree. Before we start the roof, since it's a shorter, just two-story guy here as we're curving around, I didn't want it to be much bigger than that one. We'll bring it out again and just put in the jungle trapdoors right underneath. Over here, just so it's not fully repetitive, I think I'm gonna do what I did with those walls earlier and just bring them in through here. That gives a pretty good idea of it. Yeah, I think it looks good. It's almost giving like an illusion of sorts that you think like, oh, this is the window size here. And then you see that divot in and you're like, oh, maybe that's the same size. So it's really far away. So it's the illusion it's taller, kind of. Maybe we're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with that. The rest of the second floor walls are now in place, and I decided here on the ends, instead of having it bulk out another one, seeing as those kind of block the walkway a bit more if we do a staircase coming up, I've just kind of moved it back on top of the blocks. And since it's kind of the same color vibe, remember, colorblind, so I'm gonna say that I think it works going across there, but yeah, we're just gonna rock with it. I'm gonna need a pork chop and onto the roof. But for this, we're gonna need a lot of deep slate tiles and deep slate tile walls, as I want to do full blocks along the bottom, and then instead of doing stairs, we're gonna bring it up by a wall, and then we're gonna do that again right behind here, raise it up another block in there, and then walls are gonna be coming back on top of this. But to get a little bit more contrast in the color, we're going to be bringing in a few of our bricks for just a little bit of that lighter color. Now this is starting to look pretty good over here. I like that a lot. And I also kind of do really like that it's a bit shorter. I've got a few more things that I want to add, like up here on top. We're going to do those iron bars again with our candles on top of the bars. The shape of this roof has gotten very funky, but we're just going to keep rocking with it. Okay, that's looking pretty good in here. And then for the chimney spot that I left in, let's grab some of our bricks and granite and whatnot, and maybe just do like a little kind of broken down one here, mostly out of our granite. And then this one will have the smoke coming out the top of it. Even though I fell off, managed to get it all. If I can get this last trapdoor right there, perfect. And there goes building number 4, and it pretty much looks connected. You kind of just allow yourself to jump right across the street. The top and bottom are now connected. Okay, maybe a building right here will help really sell that idea, because wow, it looks pretty wide open. Yeah, that's Whew, okay, we gotta keep on moving. Before we get to those next buildings, I want to do something a little bit different for a few minutes here, as I'm sure you'd also like to see something besides another building appear in the next few seconds. So let's pick up all of our traveling stuff, as I'd actually like to tackle some interiors in the city today as well. I know with the new buildings, it'd be easy to add those, but I feel like I should probably fix up some older things first. And I want to work on this inn, the interior of the inn, as well underneath it, somewhere right down. Nope, that's yes, right down here. That's my propagule farm. I don't really have a way to access it anymore, as I've slowly covered the entire original landscape with landscape. Now to the next building that definitely still needs an interior, but probably won't do today. Oh, it has a floor though. When did I do that? But underneath that floor is a big pit right down here where we need to stop next. This noisy mess is one of the few tree farms I have in this world, and if we flip that, can stand inside the farm, and then we can start making mangrove. There goes the tree. And there goes the tree. A few minutes later, going insane from all the clicking, but we've got ourselves a few stacks of mangrove logs, and good thing we're working on the propagule farm, as I ran out of propagules. First step for the inn, I want to tear up the ground, and since this is mangrove propagule farm, we're adding that in front and center as the floor, and then a simple spruce log ceiling. With the base area ready, I typically use dirt to lay out what I want on the inside to get an idea of it before I spend too much time actually decorating. Where I did get something that I like, and I decided to build a fireplace for ambiance and a way to keep the area warm, figuratively. Before removing more of the dirt to fill in the details, I like the idea of a front reception area for the inn, so I started building that out first. Then I spent a while decorating and realized that I have purple walls and a red floor, so to connect it all, I want blue curtains, a little warped wood, and some blue cornflowers to link it all together. And yes, 100% the second floor is absolutely empty. I didn't do anything up there, but look at this. Look at this lovely little inn in here. Everything should be spawn proof. We've got a few candles around to make it a little dark and moody vibes, and it's looking really good. So we got all that. This is a nice little big old table. Got some more seating over here, some paintings, a little carpet, and then we slide right back in here where there's like a prep kitchen. Very, very simple one, and that has a staircase leading down to where we can see the bamboo farm. We've got the propagule farm right here where it is so incredibly loud, but it does still work, which is amazing. So that just produces, oh no, I think that's, how did you get there? You're not supposed to be there. How did I just, something popped out when I was placing the blocks in. That, I think, is supposed to be like inside that. And somehow when I placed that, it got moved out of that. But it still kind of works. It's definitely still producing. It's just not really collecting. Oh, and it's out of bone meal. Nice, nice, nice. This is all going well. This is going so well. I'm so glad I spent time working on that. Yeah, I'm very, very happy with that. Okay, we're going to close that and we're going to move back on to building buildings where it's safer and easier and we just build the exteriors and we don't break things on the inside. Okay, let's go. Yes, to the next building we go, mimicking the far side of the street a little with a tough arched first floor and sidewalk. Where before we had the 2 and 2, now we just have a big 4 arch going across. Continuing along with that little bit of the copying idea, we're going to bring this up by 5. And then I think we're gonna send another layer going back here. And for this building, I want to bring in a lot of our whiter blocks and some of our gray ones too, where inventory management for this side is always super fun. Got our white concrete, a little bit of our calcite, we can do that, and then the actual wet version of our concrete, diorite to kind of transition into our grays, and then we can do that up here. Now I've been wanting to use these for quite a while, so we're gonna bring in some cherry wood right here, and then in this little space, see if I can get it placed in. Yes, we can. Little crimson trapdoor right back in there, and then behind that we're just gonna use some of our weathered grates. Main reason I wanted this is because when you're down here we get the falling cherry leaves. I just think they look so good, especially as my plan is to still build big ol' oak trees coming out of every single one of these planters that I have along the street. So we'll have big leafy green canopy covering everything. I think that little pop of pink up there is gonna be pretty cool. Got the rest of the walls in place, and I added this little guy in here just for something to break it up, and I think we can do that. I'm not sure I need to bone meal any of them because we don't really need the light up there, as I think it'd be kind of distracting, but I'm liking this building. It's coming out very, very far though. I have decided for the top as well, it goes back very, very far too. So if we did a massive roof coming all the way across, that would probably be the tallest building in town. So instead, we're going to come up here, back down there, and up and do a little double arch. Where let's raise this up another one, and then maybe do a little bit like that. Take our spruce stairs, and since we did the spruce underlining over there, can continue that for our archway, and then the arch is just going to be our logs going up to the top. Little cheeky window in right there, and this can cap it off. Yeah, that looks much better than just a massive thing up there. All 4 archways and windows are in place now. And then I was thinking for the roof, we could try bringing in a little bit of the mud brick here, top it off with a slab. And then I really, really like this pattern we used a while ago of incorporating a little bit of the granite. First arch is now done, and it's getting a bit repetitive. It is fully spawn proof, so we don't have to worry too much about that up here, but I was thinking we could come right in here. So we're kind of central in the building and behind where that first like sidewalk, I guess, section is, the covered part. So let's bring ourselves up by 4 there with that, and then we can do some anvils and just flower pots on top of these to be a little chimney thing. Yeah, I think that actually works out pretty well. This is a very important building to have in place as it really helps to frame the entrance into the street, which is very important. I'm liking that a lot more, and I love how it frames the tower we have down there with the little clock on top of it. Oh, I'm really happy that I added that in. That was just completely random, and it's working out very well. But also, almost as importantly, it really blocks off the end of the alley here, where I did come back in and add in this little brick and granite going all the way up as if it's a chimney, like extending out the side to connect into the chimney that's, I guess it's on, no, it is right there. Haha, I knew it was right above there. Yeah, there's a reason I put that here. And then I made sure with this little section I have here, I just brought the slabs all the way back, because I don't think there's really any way we'd see the detail up there unless you're like sitting on top of that tree, which I don't really care about that angle, so it's fine. With our next building continuing along the main University Street up there, having a pathway that just goes like right up like that, I think it'd be a little too steep. So instead, we're going to make a really steep staircase that's going to go up this way and over that way and then in, because I think it's going to look more aesthetically pleasing. The reason we do anything around here, so we're going to try and stick with that. And for now, I think I'm just going to keep, maybe do some brown mushroom block, extending this guy up, and we can cap it off with the polished diorite like I've been doing before, and that should be enough to be able to keep it going up at a good rate. See, we're already almost up there, and that brings us up nearly to the level, and it'll probably be a block down below it, but then we'll just figure out how to do a few slabs up there. Now, right over here, throughout this city, I have loved adding in elements of little shrines throughout, and we have this perfect 3 wide entrance up into here, so I thought we could do one of those shrines, and that is the perfect angle. Ha ha, look at that. And here, and then that's gonna be, yeah, I'm so good at this game. And then behind that, we've been doing a little bit of our prismarine right in there. Do those guys, and then the regular, no, it's already at the bottom right there. Cap it off with a little bit of a jungle trapdoor action, and then I need my flower pot, and bam, a little shrine. Now for something extremely important to the city. You and you, I need a, oh, right, it's not. Right, sorry, have a pork chop instead. Okay, come here, little puppy. Come here, I have a very important job for you. I need you to guard this area from skeletons. Oh, yeah, you can have a pork chop too. Oh, yeah, he loves it. Oh, he's such a good boy already. Oh, you're so cute. Look at those eyeballs. For our staircase moving up here, I want to work with some of our tuff, just because I think it'd be a good contrast. Maybe right about here, we start this going up again to there, because I ran out. Yeah, that's a good height. Working from the top, we'll figure out how to texture the road soon, but maybe this can come along here and we start working our way down to there. And I'm thinking like here we can have an arch so that we're kind of walking underneath a building that's going along this stretch. That can kind of come through here. Then if we work down to this slab layer, that would create a 3-block gap so we can have the arch continuing again there. And then we are all the way connected. Now also to mimic a bit of a gate being here, maybe we extend this up like 3 blocks and we can do some of our iron bars out in front as if it looks like it could kind of close off and block the entire thing. And to make sure it's consistent, the walls can go there too. I've been messing messing around with the archway a little bit more, and I think I like it, and I figured out a palette for the building. We're gonna go with a very, very messy coloring right here, and I think I want to just do a little light in there to keep it safe. And we'll stick with all of the really grimy, dirty version of our brown kind of mud brick and packed mud like we had down here, just with more darker browns instead of adding in the brick. Put that right back in there. This building is meant to be a student housing of sorts for the university that will eventually be at the end of the street, so I want a few entrances in different levels for the people who live here to more easily get into their room. The upper floor, I want to have a little fun with it, and I created a mosaic out of our stained terracotta to go above the archways, then went around to build out some more floors out of our sandstone and some mangroves just to add in a little bit of a pop of color to this. As well, the roof is now added in on top, and it's pretty plain gray stones with a little bit of mossy cobblestone added in. And then I figure a building is going to connect in right to the edge here, so I've just left that blank for now to leave the spot open. As you can see, that one comes to a point, and over here we've got a little space for like a rooftop garden of sorts, and more importantly, some parkour abilities to get onto a roof to see how far you can make it across town, probably. I tried messing around with using some of the mangrove signs here to be a thinner line of a support going all the way across, and I think I hear some skeletons in there. I didn't really put a torch on that. I should go get one. My last torch. Well, I guess I only need one, hopefully. We'll just throw it right in the middle. I'm sure it'll be totally fine in here. Oh, there's the skeleton. The front here is very dark, so we're just gonna do a little like this, drop in some candles, and one by the other door here as well, just to keep it a bit safer. And ooh, yeah, that's not gonna work out great. I placed a bunch of flower pots on top of all of these slabs. I didn't really put anything in them, so I figure we can run around with some oak saplings. Well, I'm not too sure what flower to add in. I tend to just go for these, as it's kind of hard to go wrong with just a little pop of green. Maybe I can get that one too. Perfect. I love all of these new buildings that we've added in, and more importantly, this connects the top and bottom halves of the city together. Finally! There still are plenty of spaces to fill in with buildings, but I am very happy with the progress so far. I'm also very happy to have also finished the interior of the inn today down to our propagule farm. Oh, it looks so good. And next up, let's tackle the interior of our lava farm. As well, it's a giant open building that I've been saying I've been meaning to do for a long time and never did. I can set up my new mess right over here that we can work off of. To get started, let's just fill out the floor with something else, and I'm gonna steal a little bit of the rooted dirt we have over here. Bring these guys in, and those minecarts are gonna be super annoying, but I think the ambiance will be good. And for the main floor itself, I want to work in a little bit of our coral and a little bit of our tuff just to get that darker gray. Probably bring the rest of these lines down. That's gonna be a massive forge in there, and we can extend these down too. This space back in here I think can be some sort of a storage rack, so we can put a few things over there, and maybe this side we just leave open, and we end with something a little like in there, and maybe candles for light. Yep, I'm pretty happy with that. Now, how do we want to figure out this forge? I think this purely for above that needs to come across. This guy's gonna come down and be a skinnier one, and what do we want to do? I did bring some magma blocks, and maybe we could fill that in back here. That's a little bulky, so maybe we just do like a single little corner there, like it's guiding it up the chute. I'm really starting to regret those minecarts underneath right now. Really starting to regret that, but this is looking pretty good. And I was thinking we could come back in here, dig that down, place one of them, and then do another one right back in here, cover them up, and we should still get the smoke coming up. Perfect. And I like that that catches on the chain there, so it doesn't go quite as high. I did put one of these grates in the back to kind of give a little thing there, but I think it blocking the smoke is a little weird. Yeah, that disappearing up, I like that a lot more. Now for our second forge that we have over in the corner here, I'm thinking we take a blast furnace. We could do some of these guys, and then I got some walls that we can just bring in there, that, and then cap it off with a stair like a so. And then from here, I think I have a lot of lightning rods. By that I mean 4. And I guess we can just use that to tie these together somehow. Now I just need to figure out how to explain this sound in here with some sort of a crushing mechanism, maybe right back in here, and maybe I'm gonna relocate those minecarts too. That's too much right at the door. Way too much. How many did I put in here? 4. Wow, that's a lot of minecarts. Alrighty, I think I have done it. I think I've figured out what I want in here, and apparently I have a block of magma just sitting there. We're gonna ignore that and move on. But we got a little storage over here. We've got a workstation right here, and this is the machine. See how it's very machiney? Yes, this is what all the noise is coming from, the inner workings of the very real machine here. Yeah, it's just it's in like a dormant state right now. That's why it's not working, but it's very real machine. So machiney. Next up, I think it's about time to fix up this cobblestone gross road right throughout here. And we've been using some stone brick, we've been using some stone and some andesite down here. And then I think I want to work in a little bit of the coral just for some darker patches. Now for the roads, I work in splotches of materials, and for this round I tried also adding in a little bit more dead coral along this stretch just to show that there's some more wear along the main road leading up and down the city, keeping the cobblestone in the middle as if it's like a little bit more crumbled down from all the carts moving. I'm really happy with how this has turned out. I think it stretches all the way down there and is fairly complete. I might tweak things a little bit as we're moving once we get the other buildings in over there. I know it's going to block the view of everything, but man, I cannot wait to do that. That might have to be the next city expansion we do. I'm thinking road along the back here. We're gonna need another little tiny road that's gonna somehow get over to that point, a back one connecting over into there, and oh, we got a whole new neighborhood to plan. But before I get too distracted with that, I should probably actually detail this area and install a few little bits to make it a bit more mob safe, as it's not really lit up around here. It looks kind of nice. And then in some of the other places where we're not gonna be able to put anything for now, we can just slap some glow lichen down along the road, as that will do a lot to help keep us safe over here. There's a lantern, and we probably are gonna need some glow lichen here in the middle. Something tells me this is not the safest. And now we're also at the fun part where I do get to come around and just add some decoration and everything else that I want to be throwing in here. So maybe like a little pot right there. We can use this one here as another spot for some candles. They're pretty close together, but I think it's gonna be needed. I didn't put any lights at the front of the building here, so I think we're also just gonna do some more candles because I think it looks like a nice little entry piece. It's a lot more inviting, I personally think, than like a lantern. Maybe that can just be some leaves. We do need a little bit more greenery down here along the base. I do love having that everywhere in the city. Speaking of which, let's change this up a touch here to something like that. There are some moss blocks here in the base, and I'm thinking some azalea leaves like this, and then a tall grass right there. This is one of my favorite points in any Minecraft build, where you just gotta throw in the little details and really make the space just come to life around everywhere. And it's so much fun. Spent a little while longer messing around with all of our little details, and I'll be honest, I am very, very happy with how these new builds have turned out. Oh, I love them. This has come together pretty well for our first project back, and yeah, just generally very happy with how everything's coming together. I'm definitely feeling motivated to continue working on this city some more and get this street filled out with our buildings right over here. I think that's going to be very important to selling this whole thing. We might have to make the street a little wider though. It's kind of getting cramped in here now I'm looking at it. But there are so many little pockets to fill in. Like over there, we definitely need to hide that face with some structures. And oh my gosh, it's almost time to plant the trees on University Street. There's so many things I'm looking forward to. I wanted to finish all the buildings along the street so we could just do one big round of all these massive trees to cover it as we go. But maybe we have to experiment and get them in up to here first. Let me know what you think on that one. Should we do it now, or should we wait for the big grand of doing them all at once? We might have to rethink that road back there because we don't have a whole lot of space for a building here. Future fWhip problems. But that, my friends, is going to do it for today's episode. Thank you all so very much for watching. Click that like button down below if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you're brand new, and I'll catch you all on the fWhip side.